Hello dear viewers, myself Nasir and you're watching Mr.Zoologist YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about structural organization in animals. So animal tissues. First of all we are going to discuss about animal tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells having a specific function and origin. Means to say similar cells combine together to perform a same function that is called as tissue. Animal tissues are of four types: epithelial tissues, connective tissues. Epithelial are in the outer skin, whereas connective tissues are in the blood, whereas muscular tissues are in the muscles, neural tissues are in the nervous system. These are the four types of tissues in the animals. As you can see in the diagram that these are the epithelial tissues in the outer covering of the skin or epidermis. It has a free surface that faces body fluid or outside environment, which means to say that is located outside the body. Means is outer covering of the body. Covers the lines body or body parts. Cells are compactly packed with little intercellular matrix, means to say that is almost considered to be non-living, whereas that is living to the some extent. Simple epithelial tissues are of either simple means to say single layered, compound means multi-layered. These are the types of the epithelial tissues. Uh, Simple epithelium in actual is composed of a single layer of cells. It lines body cavities, ducts and tubes. Based on structural modification of cells, simple epithelium is of three types: either squamous, cuboidal or columnar epithelium. These are the types of simple epithelium tissues, in which first of all we are going to discuss about squamous epithelium. Thin layer of latent cells with irregular boundaries found in the walls of blood vessels and lung alveoli. Means to say that is a part of internal cell organs like definition. We can define it in the definite ways that it is involved in the blood vessels oxygenation as well as in the lungs oxygenation. That is called squamous epithelium. Functions: it forms a diffusion boundary, means to say that it helps oxygen to diffuse inside the blood and outside the blood, inside the body and outside the body. That is the function of the squamous epithelium. Next is cuboidal epithelium or cubical epithelium, composed of cube-like cells found in ducts of glands and tubular parts of nephrons. Means to say that is the structure of a nephron. You're looking in the diagram, that is glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, loop of Henle, proximal tubule, convoluted tubule. That is all the parts of the nephron. So they are the part of the glands, ducts as well as tubular parts of nephron. What are its functions? Secretion and absorption is its major function. Epithelium of proximal convoluted tubule of nephron has microvilli, means to say smaller finger-like projections of there are called as microvilli. Next is columnar epithelium, composed of tall and slender cells. Their nuclei are located at the base, means to say their nucleus is towards the downward area. Free surface may have microvilli, finger-like projections like small, found in lining of stomach and intestine. Its origin or its function or its base. Functions: what is major function? Secretion and absorption, means to say filtration, secretion, absorption, they are all the functions they are taking part in. Next we are looking at modification of columnar or cuboidal. First of all is ciliated epithelium. Cells bear cilia on their free surface area. Cilia are here like extensions, whereas present in the inner surface of hollow organs like bronchioles and fallopian tubes. Bronchioles are in the lungs, whereas fallopian tubes are in the reproductive structure of the female, as you can see in the diagram. Function: what is its function? To move particles or mucus in a specific direction over the epithelium, means to say movement of material is helped by the cilia. Cilia beat like a flickering flame, so they help to move them in and out. Second is glandular epithelium. For secretion there are two types. First is unicellular, which consists of isolated glandular cells like goblet cells of the alimentary canal. Second is multicellular, consists of cluster of cells, just like the grapes, like salivary gland. You can see in the diagram also visible to you. Next is glandular epithelium. Based on mode of pouring of their secretions, glands are of two types: exocrine glands, which send secretions outside; endocrine glands, which sends secretions inside. They release secretions through ducts, tubes. Exocrine glands secretes mucus, saliva, airwax, oil, milk, digestive enzymes. They all are exocrine glands. Their secretions goes away from the producing glands, whereas endocrine glands or ductless glands, they do not have any ducts. They produce hormones, and these hormones remain inside the cell or may travel from one cell to another cell, as you can see in the diagrams. Next are compound epithelium, composed of multi-layered cells, limited role in secretion and absorption. They cover the dry surface of skin, moist surface of buccal cavity, pharynx, inner lining of ducts of salivary glands, and pancreatic ducts. Functions. What is the middle function? Protection against chemical and mechanical stresses. It is outer covering, as it is composed of several structures which are helpful in protection and can bear so much stress. What are cell junctions? These are the junctions that provide the structural and functional links between adjacent cells. They are of three types: tight junctions, adhering junctions, gap junctions. These are the cell junctions. As you can see in the diagram, topmost are adherence junctions, and in the middle they are the tight junctions, and at the last they are gap junctions. Means to say from one cell to another cell there is a gap, minor gap. That gap can be well understood with the help of this diagram. What are tight junctions? They help to stop substances from leaking across a tissue, whereas the adhering junctions perform cementing to keep neighboring cells together. Means they cement together. They stick one cell to another cell, whereas gap junctions facilitate the cells to communicate with each other by connecting cytoplasm of adjoining cells for rapid transfer of ions, small molecules, and big molecules. Means to say the gap junctions are in actual connecting links between two cells. They help them to exchange their material from one cell to another cell. Next, we have connective tissues. They links and supports other tissues, organs, most abundant in complex animals, which have complex body organization, cellular organization. All connective tissues except blood have fibroblast cells. They secrete fibrous proteins called collagen and elastin. What is the function of collagen and elastin? They give strength, elasticity, and flexibility. It means to say they can be stretched and relaxed. The cells also secrete modified polysaccharides matrix which accumulate between cells and fibers. These polysaccharides are in actual made up the structure of the body. Structure organization means to say like cellulose, they do not dissolve in water, and other polysaccharides also do not dissolve in water because they are insoluble in water in nature. They are hydrophobic in nature. We have further types of connective tissues in animals. Loose connective tissues have two types, two subtypes: areolar tissue and adipose tissue, as you can see in the topmost diagram. Next are dense connective tissues. You can see in the middle that these are maybe dense regular. They have regular arrangement, whereas dense irregular, which have irregular arrangement at the end, you can see in the diagram. Whereas we have specialized connective tissues like cartilage in the first, bone in the second, and blood in the third diagram. These are visible to you. And these are the types of the connective tissues and subtypes. First of all, we are going to discuss in detail about loose connective tissue. In these cells, fibroblasts, macrophage, mast cells, for example, and fibers are loosely arranged in a semi-fluid matrix. Semi-fluid means sometimes we can call it a sticky. It is of two types, areolar and adipose. These are the types of connective tissue. Like loose connective tissues, we have areolar tissue. You can see in the diagram its arrangement. Areolar tissues have mast cells in the right below, and fibroblasts are the just like fibers which are covering, and you can see in the blue diagram these are the collagen fibers, and in the red topmost at the macrophage present beneath the skin. They are present beneath the skin. It serves as support framework for epithelium.